So Pete, I just got some orders. We've got to encrypt all the data, all the things, compliance, security's freaking out. How do I get started? How do I encrypt my vSAN cluster?
Well, the great news is that it's usually just through a process of a few clicks. vSAN encryption, it really consists of two separate services that are a cluster-based service. One is that there's a data at rest encryption, and then there is a data in transit encryption. And both of those names sort of imply what they do. One is encrypting the data in flight, and then the other one's encrypting the data as it lands on the storage devices within the cluster. But these are just cluster services that you can enable just within the cluster itself and on a per cluster basis. So you don't have to do everything or all of your clusters. You can encrypt some of them while leaving others unencrypted. What we generally recommend in these cases, though, is that if you do want to encrypt a cluster up front, you want to set that setting early on before you roll it into production. Now, if you're unsure of if encryption is right for you and you want to test it out, well, then that's going to be something that you can enable on a live cluster. But there's some additional resources that it's going to use as it sort of does a rolling reformat of each respective host. So it's just going to shuffle the data around for a little while. It's certainly a viable option if you're doing a POC or if you're want to try it out in a production environment. But we generally find, though, for given some encryption offerings in past solutions and things of that nature, it's really a pretty straightforward process.
Well, and I like that there's not only data at rest encryption, but also data in transit encryption. So this is going to get me kind of the same protection I would have gotten from encrypting inside my guest VMs without all of that just ugly complexity and overhead.
Yeah, that's there's a massive level of improved simplicity with the data in flight encryption with vSAN. One of the most interesting aspects about it is the fact that it handles all of the key management on its own. It's all transparent to the user. You don't have to have a key manager for the process of enabling the vSAN data in flight encryption. It's all done for you. So it's really an interesting option that can be used independently or together with vSAN data at rest encryption.